At this time, I'll call the October 5th, 2023 meeting to order for the Dickson County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have two items to add to the agenda. One is in regards to a replacement on our Bobcat skid loader, on the bids for that. And then the other item we'll be adding is an executive session, attorney-client privilege, and that will be towards the end of the meeting.
Move the approved agenda.
I'll give the second. We have the motion to approve the amended agenda and the second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The consent agenda includes the minutes of the September 28th meeting, also expenditures of $285,533.03, a security payment of $4,293, hand checks of $211.06, utilities of $17,230.30, and a bond payment of $19,612.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
We have the motion and the second for approval of the consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Commission comments. Craig?
Nothing.
Ron?
I have nothing.
Okay. Earlier this morning, we did visit with Chancey Smith in regards to some of the things going on with emergency management, and then also on some of the items that Janelle will mention in her report. And that's all we have. That's all I have on that. So this would be opportunity. There's no proclamations or petitions. This would be opportunity for public comment. If there's anyone that's listening that would want to comment on an item that is not on the agenda, and you just need to give your name and address and what your concern or question happened to be. And it does not appear that we have anyone that has any questions, so we'll go ahead and move on. And the next item is report of county officers. Our county administrator, Janelle Dockendorf, he'll give your report.
Commissioners, as you know, we are in the process of looking for grants to use towards our communication system, and we had applied for the local safety and security equipment, the LSSE grant. The state received 149 requests with over $26 million, and only $6 million were awarded. Unfortunately, Dickinson County was not one of those. So we'll continue to try as we find grants that come up, we will do that. So I'm happy to report that the bridge at 1060 1900 Avenue, the repairs have been completed and the bridge is open. We are working with our company that damaged it, and we'll see about working through that process for the reimbursement. 1145 First Road, they have moved to the west side from the east side, and that seems to be going quite well. We've received our first invoice, and if you recall that this is a cost share program with KDOT and then also Clay County. So the process is that we will submit the reimbursement request to the state, and then we will also submit the reimbursement request to Clay County after we have paid for it, and then they will reimburse us those fees. So, and then they've moved into 142 Hawk Road and set the steel on that bridge. Final mow out of the season is going on. They should be finishing up on Old 40. Then they're going to move to the northeast quadrant of the county and continue around. Just a reminder, county offices will be closed on October 9th for our staff development day. This is a day that we have done annually for quite a number of years, and it's a way to get the staff together and provide training for them. So it's a good day for us to be able to do that, and I think we're pretty excited about this one. And then also countywide cleanup is coming up October 16th to the 20th. There's information on our website and on Facebook, or call out to Environmental Services, and they should be able to answer any questions that you might have. That's all I would have.
Okay, thank you. Doug?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Okay, I'll go ahead and move on to notices and communications. We have a letter here, and it's someone that would like to visit with the commission, perhaps by phone sometimes. And what their concern is, and this is more of a federal issue, probably, it is, the increase discussion or legislation in regards to the size of semi trucks and weights and so on. And of course, that obviously could impact a lot of people. And so I'll pass that on, Janelle, and I don't know if that's something that it might be that you could gather that information rather than bring it before the commission, just because it is a legislative issue that we can always bring up to our Congress people.
Okay.
I did have a couple of things here, and just a notification to make sure that we are aware of the regulations regarding putting up notices for Kansas and federal laws and making sure that's available. We also have one for someone that wants to assist us as far as funding opportunities. McIntyre Associates, and then also a Sheriff's Magazine. That's pretty much all I have. Like I will mention, I did have someone question the bridge work on a bid that we let up there on Old 40, and they were concerned about the timing of it being January through March, and there's other variables involved. That's an opportunity to get a lower bid and keep our fingers crossed for open weather or decent weather, but obviously there's weather days if the weather does not cooperate. But then the other factor is we try to work. Sometimes we can work things like that around harvest time, planting, and other events and so on. So no matter when construction takes place, it's inconvenient at times. There's really no remedy because you have to do the work eventually. Any other comments from the commission or any other letters or phone calls you received you'd want to bring up at this time? We'll go ahead and move on. We do not, we do have a resolution to consider?
No, it's just a policy.
Okay. I just said, okay, that was just something we discussed as far as, and we're going to push that down
At least
for a future meeting or so in regards to cremations or burial fees on the unclaimed bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something we would have with the funeral homes probably.
Yes.
So moving on, do you want to discuss or bring up the information regarding the proclamation policy, Janelle?
Commissioners, I would just like to formalize our process for proclamations that come through. And we do understand the importance of it for significant events and organizations. Just wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page with this, and it's providing public awareness on important issues, notable achievements, special events, or honoring outstanding individuals or organizations. There's a process that we would ask if they have a proclamation request, they submit it to the Dickinson County Clerk or to myself, and they should have the purpose and the significance of the proclamation, the contact information, the proposed language, and any documentation there. We'd ask that they submit this 2 weeks prior to a commission meeting, and the commissioners have the right to refuse or approve the proclamation request. And then it would be presented at the next meeting, and we would ask that a representative from that organization also be present when the proclamation is read. And then obviously as normal, the proclamations would be kept with the county clerk's office. So just like to have a little more formal policy on that.
And all in all, it's a very helpful promotional tool to get information out, and the newspaper often covers it. And for example, we had 4-H'ers here last week, and so a lot of worthwhile things, or draws a lot of attention to
right
various things. Is there a motion to go ahead and adopt that policy officially?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have the motion and second to adopt this proclamation policy. Any other questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item we have is in regards to the materials for the bridge replacement. That's 130 1500 Avenue.
Commissioners, this is future planning that our highway department does, and we're trying to take advantage of some prices again and buying soon. We received one quote for the bridge decking, push sheeting, and I guess it was two 12-foot and 10-foot push sheetings, and that was from Wellborn Sales for the bridge. That amount was $24,840. And then we received three quotes for the angle iron, the beams, the H pilings, and we received bids from Odin Enterprises at $24,580.44. Husker Steel at $36,730.20, and Wellborn Sales for $540.50. So based on those quotes, staff is recommending the bid from Wellborn for the decking and sheeting at the $24,840, and then the bid from Odin for the structural steel at $24,580.44.
I'll move we accept the bid that's presented.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second to accept the bids presented. The first one from Wellborn Sales, Inc., $24,840. And then the second part was Odin Enterprises, Inc., $24,580.44. That's for the structural steel, and the other was for the decking. Any other questions, concerns? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item we have was an item that we added to the agenda. This was for the replacement of the Bobcat skid loader.
So as you know, we reported, or we spoke to you about some issues we were having with the tracks on the 2020 Bobcat skid steer loader. So our highway department has contacted some vendors to see what kind of a trade-in we would be able to receive on the current skid steer loader, and then a replacement. For years, we leased this, and then it became prudent for us to just go ahead and purchase one outright. And we thought we had a good one. And unfortunately, the hydraulics on it caused problems with the tracks coming off, and that stops the job. So he's contacted John Deere, and they have a quote of $89,000 with a trade-in value of $52,775. So our total cost would be $36,225. Bobcat the quote is $99,152.72 with a trade-in value of $58,000. So that leaves the total cost of $41,152.72. And then we had two quotes from Foley. One is for 110 horsepower at $123,000 with a trade-in value of $55,000. So a total output of $68,000. And then another one from Foley at 98 horsepower at $98,000. Again, a $55,000 trade-in, so a total of $43,000. So in talking to Martin, the current Bobcat is a 105, or I'm sorry, a 110, but he feels confident that the 98 horsepower would be adequate from John Deere, and that's the recommendation. The hydraulics are 42 gallons per minute compared to the Bobcat at 40 gallons per minute. So he feels like that's going to serve our needs. It's a local vendor. There are 5 blocks down the road where we can get assistance if need be. So the recommendation is the John Deere at $36,225 after trade-in.
I'd go ahead and make the motion that we do the John Deere 2020 Bobcat skid loader to be replaced and use John Deere. The $36,225 is the net.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second. Any other discussion or question?
Yeah, I know we're talking here, everything's the same on all of them though?
Yes, all the specs are.
Okay,
Yes,
Other than the horsepower.
right.
correct.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item we have would be an executive session, and this would be with our attorney Doug Thompson, Janelle, and the commissioners. And this is for attorney-client privilege. And recommendation was that this be for 10 minutes. It's 11:16 now. I would move that 11:17, we go into executive session for 10 minutes.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're now going to go into attorney-client privilege, executive session. Doug Thompson. I'd move that we go out of executive session and return to regular session.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and second to go back into regular session from our executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're back in regular session. As a result of our discussions, attorney-client privilege with Doug Thompson, and for our 10-minute executive session, we have no further information or announcements to give at this time. Going back to our agenda, the other item that we have left on the agenda is another executive session. This is for security matters relating to county buildings. This executive session will include Janelle and also Marcus, our finance director, and the commissioners, and Chancey. And are we going to do that for 15 minutes?
15?
Let me, got a question here. What am I going to mark here for how we're going in?
It's security matters relating to
There's nothing
county buildings. And I,
confidential data,
yes,
trade secrets.
confidential. And I checked with
Information.
Jay to make sure that we were legit on that. Doug was tied up. And you want Doug included in
Yes.
that?
Correct. So we had that motion and the second, and that will be to go into executive session for 15 minutes, starting at 11:30. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, 11:45 then.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Go into executive session at 11:30 to 11:45. I'll make a motion that we return to regular session.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and second to return to regular session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Back in regular session, we finished our 15-minute executive session. We have no additional information to bring forth at this time. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and second to adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.